What's up, guys? Welcome back to Daniel Talks Football right here on YouTube. I am Daniel and we are back with another podcast. In this podcast, we are going to be doing a deep dive into Nottingham Forest. Forest obviously only just recently got re-promoted to the Premier League after a long stint in the Championship, and they've been keeping afloat and been keeping up with the rest of the sides in the Premier League. They are in a relegation battle, so it's going to be very interesting to discuss with the guest we've got on today about how Forest have been doing so far this season and if they will survive, which is the crucial question. Before we do get into the podcast, please make sure to like the video, comment down below, and also subscribe to the channel. Go over and follow the Instagram and the TikTok, Danny Talks Football on both. As always, very inconsistent on both the Instagram and the TikTok, but content will always come at you nice and fast on the YouTube, so make sure you do hit that notification bell as well, so you are notified whenever I upload a video. Right. I spoke to the guest we have on the line, and I'll touch on him again now. He's a returning guest to the channel. He actually got the channel the most viewed video ever. So thanks, Chaz, for that one. It's Chaz. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. It's a hat trick on here now. Three times,
is, isn't it?
3 times.
Is that might be the first? That might be the first hat trick, actually. I'm not sure if anyone else has done one. There's been possibly a couple of video hat tricks, but I'm not quite sure if there's a podcast hat trick. So there we go. Chaz is the first hat trick on the channel. As I say, he got the most viewed video on the channel ever, so I thank you for that one. A massive 603 views.
Not bad.
A rating all 21 Nottingham Forest transfers, which we are going to touch on later, but you'll have to stay tuned for that because that's coming right at the end. Let's start off this Forest deep dive by talking about what's actually going on with Nottingham Forest. So, what is going on with Nottingham Forest, and crucially, how's the season gone so far?
Well, obviously, it started awfully. 11 games, 1 win. That 1 win against West Ham, and that was awful. But then I think we offered Cooper a new contract midway through, showed a bit of belief in him, and from there it's just got even better and better. Since the international break, we've only lost 1 in the league, which you can't complain about when you're in a relegation battle.
You can't.
And that was against Man U away. Who haven't lost at Old Trafford since the start of the year. So no, it's been really good since the. I think the World Cup break did come at a bad time for us, but we've bounced back really well. Obviously, getting crucial wins against Leicester.
Yep.
And draws against Chelsea, which are good. Bournemouth, we probably should have won yesterday. That would have really elevated us up the league a bit. So yeah, it's been. Do you know what? It's been quite a good year. To say all the players needed to gel and stuff like that at the start of the year. But yeah, it's been quite good recently. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, obviously, as an outsider looking in, you have been playing alright. I do agree the winter break came at the bad time for you, as it probably did for us guys as well, as we were on a massive winning streak. But you've bounced back fairly well since then. Obviously, I've watched you at least once since the comeback, and we don't talk about that game or what happened within it, because Brendan Johnson's just Welsh. So we don't touch on that game, but I've been really, really good, and obviously this has all sort of been set up through that mental summer business you did when you signed. Was it 23 players in the end? I thought
it was about 26.
Well, there we go. We don't even know the number at this point.
It might be like 26 now.
Yeah, fair enough. When you look back on that summer business that you did, in hindsight, do you think it was actually a good idea?
Well, obviously some players haven't even touched the grass yet. Like Omar Richards, Neil Carter's only played twice, but like we needed them for backups. But obviously they've been injured. But players like Baldy, I don't know about how he says that. Why did we sign him? I don't understand why we signed him, because one, he just didn't play. It was probably just like one of those a bit of a panic buy, because Neil Carter got injured and then we just signed him, but we didn't really need him. So it was a bit of a panic buy from us, to be fair. But I feel like most of the signings have been we needed to make them. Obviously, I feel like we need to make a few more signings in January, which I think we'll touch on later. But I feel like the summer transfer window, it was a bit of a madness, but I feel most players are now gelling together really well, and most players we're starting to get a bit of use out of every single player we signed. That's not gone on loan.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we are going to go back through and obviously review every single player that you did bring in that summer transfer window. Now it's been a couple of months and you've actually been able to watch them play. Some of those players have already moved on from the club, which says an awful lot. I mean, you spoke on a couple of lads there. Bade, you gave him a 6 out of 10 initially, and I have a feeling it's not going to be a 6 out of 10 this time round. But We will touch on that in a later video. If you are watching this as a video on the channel instead of the full podcast, there is going to be 3 videos that are going to come out of this podcast as well as the full podcast. The full podcast will most likely already be out on the channel as of you listening to this. So make sure to go and check that out, and also keep an eye out for the other videos that are coming out around Nottingham Forest. We've touched on it there, obviously, through the transfers. The man that was behind all of this was Marinakis. Is he just mental, or does he just love signing players? Because between Olympiacos and Forest, there were nearly 50 players signed by him this summer.
Yeah, he has got a very, very deep pockets.
He does.
Well, so, like, you look at us now, we're obviously bringing in a lot more money than Olympiacos. Because, like, when he first bought us, we were, turning over maybe 12-13 million a year?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
And now we're turning over, 140 million?
Yeah.
He made 150 million out of that Huddersfield game. It's like, so obviously this is probably his first priority now. So what you might start seeing is the Forest players that aren't quite getting into games at Forest might go on loan to Olympiacos. So I feel like Forest is his like main thing now, even though Olympiacos are playing Europa League and stuff. So I feel like long term Marinakis, even though he's a crazy bastard, it could be like the long-term solution for us of signing players. Obviously, everyone knows he likes to put his hand in his pocket, spend the money. Which, do you know what? If he's spending it rightly, I can't complain about it. So I feel like he's a very good owner because we always see him at matches as well, which is obviously a really good sign because it shows that he's interested in the club. Unlike some of these owners who just don't care and they just chuck money at the club.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think. Do you know what? I think he's a solid owner to have. He's got a few alleged crimes, but they're only alleged, so...
Yes, thanks, Chaz. I briefed you on that one beforehand. Do apologise for any language in there as well. As quoted, he's a crazy bastard who's got some alleged crimes against him, but he seems to be a decent owner, so we can move on with that one. You've touched on the future a little bit there. What does the future look like longer term for this Forest side? Do you stay up long term? Is that just your survival? Is that just your sort of aim to just stay up constantly, or are you looking to push towards Europe?
So obviously we've seen it with Fulham this year. They're pushing Europe, but I think we need to do a bit of Brighton are doing, like maybe 4 or 5 years of mid-table, just securing their place in the Premier League, get a bit of money, and then obviously start moving up the league a bit. Because like this year they're looking at pushing for Europe.
They are,
like a lot of sides are. But you know what? I feel like long term, if we want to push for Europe, it's a bit of a bold shout, but I don't think Steve Cooper's the man.
Okay.
I feel like we need someone with a bit of experience who can maybe push the league up a bit. Like, obviously, I know Graham Potter's a bit out of the question at the moment, but obviously someone like Graham Potter would be a great manager to have.
Don't rule it out, Chaz. He could be getting sacked in the summer by Chelsea.
Great.
But we will actually touch on Cooper's future a little bit later on, so I won't go too much into that now. And then last but not least, before we sort of round off this segment and do actually move into how to, I don't want to say how to fix Forest, because you're doing all right, but that's the name of the series, so I kind of got to keep it moving with that. What are your predictions for this season for Forest in the Cups, in the league? How is the rest of the season going to play out?
So, we'll start off with the Cup, because obviously without the FA Cup,
you are.
Bit of an embarrassing result against Blackpool, but I feel like we don't need to go far in it. No, because we've already got the Carabao Cup. We had 4 games in the Carabao Cup to still play if we get to the final. We've got another 20 games in the Premier League. Yes. 19 games, 18 games. So I don't think Cooper needs the pressure on the players for the FA Cup, wearing them out. I feel like the FA Cup, I know football's all about money now. I know it's quite a prestigious trophy, but I don't think we're going to win it. No. The only reason I'll play the FA Cup is for Europe, but I don't think we're going to win it. So I feel the FA Cup was just a bit of a write-off. We didn't need to play it. Carabao Cup, obviously we've done well in it. Yeah. We've got Man U, but I don't think we'll get past Man U there. They're in incredible form at the moment. So I feel like if we get absolutely filled in at home, we should just play an under-23 side away. I don't think we need to knack people up, because after that we got Leeds at home on the Sunday, and that's a massive game. So I feel like we don't need to knacker players up. If we're 3 or 4-0 down away, just play a few youngsters. But I feel the Carabao Cup, we've got a bit of potential to win that, because Newcastle and, is it Southampton? Both beatable sides.
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, because Newcastle beat us and then Southampton got through Leicester City, didn't they?
Obviously, Newcastle, they're not looking brilliant at the moment. lost to Sheffield Wednesday, drew to Palace yesterday.
Indeed.
So, do you know what? If we get past Man United, I see a real chance of winning it. And obviously Europe comes involved.
Exactly. Is it Conference League now? If you win the
it's Conference League. Yeah, I know that. Full manager.
Great competition. Really good competition. I mean, we played in it, so it's a really good competition.
Yeah, you play like some Serbian.
I mean, like whatever it was when we got knocked out of the Europa League to go into it. Our first game was Randers, who were like 7th in the Danish league at the time. So have fun.
I swear Tottenham got knocked out by Mura or something like that.
They did. And then league form. What's going to happen in the league?
So, I think it just really depends what happens in the next 2 or 3 games. Because if you look at like how tight it is at the bottom, every league's tight at the moment. But the bottom of the Premier League, it's unpredictable. I think the only teams you can predict to go down at the moment is Everton.
Okay.
Everton are down.
I still think they could survive. I don't think anybody's down yet because you've still got, as I say, half the season left to go. But I could see Everton. I could see a lot of sides going down. I could see us being one of them.
Though I feel like there's about 7 teams in the discussion for it. Mm-hmm. The only team I just don't see going down is West Ham. I think that's the only team down from 12th to 20th. Is the only team I don't see going down is West Ham. They've got too much talent.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same for Wolves, possibly. You could say the same for Leicester as well.
No, you can't. You can't say the same for Leicester. They're awful.
James Maddison, Yuri Tielemans, Wilfred Ndidi, Wout Faes.
I'm joking. So, I feel like league, I think we'll get 14th solid.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think we'll hit the magic 40, but I think we'll get 37 points.
That'd be enough.
I feel we need to get 3 points against teams like Leeds. We should have got 3 points yesterday against Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. We need to get 3 points against Everton, even West Ham, even though I've just said they're really good.
Yeah.
We need to get 3 points against Wolves. Mm-hmm. We need to get some massive results against the teams that are down there, and then teams that are up in the table like your Cities, your Arsenal, your United. We've got them all at home. We need to try and scrape a point against them, and that's Liverpool, how we do it.
You beat Liverpool early on in the season, and
but that's easy.
Well, it's not easy, Chaz.
Yeah, it is. You almost beat him at Anfield if you want for that fast bloke.
Yeah, but we don't speak about Liverpool away, okay? Because Wout Faes supports Liverpool. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, probably does.
So he genuinely does. He's a Liverpool fan. So I'm not trying to say something dodgy happened, but possibly allegedly, Anyway, we will end off that segment there before you come back to when we asked Chaz how to fix Forest. So let's do that. We are back off the break to come back and talk about how to fix Nottingham Forest. Now I'm going to be honest, you don't really need fixing, do you? But we're still going to do it anyway. So how do you fix Nottingham Forest? And the first thing we need to discuss is Steve Cooper. Is he the long-term solution to that manager position? Do you need somebody, possibly a better manager? If so, who? What are your feelings towards Steve Cooper?
I feel it depends on where the club wants to go. Because if the club wants to do a bit of a Newcastle or a Brighton or a Fulham, I don't think Steve Cooper's a man. Because obviously he hasn't had any Premier League experience to start with. I know Brighton manager, he hasn't had any Premier League experience or European experience, has he?
No, he did. He did. Was it Sassuolo? He had something, I think, in the Europa League.
Sassuolo. I don't know. Is it Italian side?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I don't really follow Italian football. But I feel like Steve Cooper's not the man to take us to Europa League. Okay. Even push to Champions League or so. He's not the man to do that unless we get it next year. Because I feel like he is the man for the next few years, but not. It just all depends on where the club wants to go. If we want to just stick in the Premier League, be a bit safe. But if we want to really push, I don't think he's the man. I know he's done so much for the club, but I don't know. I really don't know. It's a really tricky one because he could go into the Champions League, Europa League Conference, Champions League, and do really well. We just don't know because he hasn't had the experience there. So it's a really tricky one. But I am going to say he's not the long-term solution. No.
Okay. Okay, I mean, the same was said in the summer, to be honest, when he was coming up to the Premier League. People were saying he hasn't got the Premier League experience, so we're going to have to see how he adapts to this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'll agree with that one, and we'll have to kind of see how he does. Moving on to the player side now, because Cooper, he's very good for the short to mid term sort of for the club. But the players at the moment, there are certainly players that need to leave this sort of group of players. And we're obviously going to touch on the guys that you signed in the summer in a little bit. But what players do you need to move on in the final couple of days of January?
So, I feel like we need to move on in January. Obviously, Lingard will go in the summer.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see him go now. I just think he's just eating up finances at the club.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But January, I can't really put my finger on someone who has to leave, because I feel like everyone we've got is just decent, but you've obviously got your reserve players like Cafu, Lyle Taylor, who I'd like to see both maybe go out on loan or sold. I would also like to see some of the youngsters go out on loan, get a bit of experience.
Yeah.
But apart from like Cafu and Lyle Taylor, I can't really see any first team players going.
Okay.
Maybe someone who doesn't play. I'm just trying to think of players that just don't play at all. Because most players, like Emmanuel Dennis, maybe, for instance,
that's a shot.
The thing is with Steve Cooper, the way he plays, he likes tall strikers that he can get it out to up top if he wants to play hoofball. And do you know what? It's working quite well. Obviously, Chris Wood didn't have a great debut yesterday, but he had no training.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to play in the system, so it's one of those things. But Awiniyi, for the last from Boxing Day till he got injured, he was an incredible player against Chelsea, Southampton. He was a brilliant player. Even against Man United, he put up a few good runs. But I feel Emmanuel Dennis, maybe he hasn't been. He scored one, I think, against Villa.
Okay.
But apart from that, I can't think of anyone else that I'll be like, oh, thank God he's gone. Maybe I'm not a massive fan of either of the Huddersfield boys, Toffolo and O'Brien, but I feel like they need to be given more of a chance. So I don't think anyone should go apart from Cafu, Dennis, and Lyle Taylor.
That's an interesting change from the Huddersfield lads, because I know you were very glowing about O'Brien when you signed him.
Yeah.
But we'll touch on him a little bit later. And then, again, I hate saying this because you signed so many flipping players in the summer. But incomings in January, is there anybody else you might look to get in alongside the lads you've already brought in?
So, I don't know if you've heard the rumours about Anthony Gordon.
I have. I saw in the group chat yesterday.
I will not be a fan of that.
I saw there were split opinions of it.
Yeah, do you know, he's shown that he can be a good player, but I think his head's not in the right place at the moment at Everton.
Yeah.
I feel like, have you seen the video that all the Everton fans shouting at him after the game and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So I feel that's probably might be a reason why he's playing really badly. He's under so much pressure at Everton. Like, if I was an Everton player right now, I just wouldn't be playing well at all if I was a good footballer. Yeah. But I feel the goalkeepers that come.
Originally, I'm just gonna quote on Anthony Gordon. Your initial reaction to signing Anthony Gordon was mint. I'll have him.
Yeah.
What's changed, Chaz?
The fact he's been crap this year.
Because this was less than 24 hours ago. You wanted Anthony Gordon at the club.
£60 million player though.
Yeah.
What a baller. But I don't know. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But
I've put you right in it here.
Yeah, mint player. Mint player.
Right, there we go. Yeah. There's the departing views of Anthony Gordon. And then we look ahead to the summer.
Wait, no, I'm not finished.
And you don't? Oh, keep going.
No, goalkeeper, mate. Okay. Goalkeeper. With Henderson injured, we need a new goalie. Do you know the two players that are...
I know you're interested with Keylor Navas, because I haven't stopped.
There's another one. What's it called? A Croatian keeper. What?
Lavakovic.
Yeah, Lavakovic, yeah. Interested in him.
I would love him at Leicester, by the way.
Yeah, but he won't come Leicester.
Who knows?
No, because your club's falling apart.
Thanks, mate.
How do you save Leicester City? That's what this podcast
mate, I would have done that.
You need to do another video.
Mate, I think it's coming. Okay, so a goalkeeper. Which goalkeeper would you like?
Well, obviously, Keylor Navas, world-class goalkeeper. Okay. Also, I quite like... do you know what, I like a young keeper. Like, even like Bursic from Stoke would be an absolute great keeper to have. He's played like 100 games for Stoke and he's only like 21. He's a great keeper.
He's a young lad, isn't he? Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard differing things on him. Some people are really glowing over him and say, he's a good keeper. Some are quite negative.
Even Patterson from Sunderland, like if we can sign, I don't know how much they're going for though, because I think they're quite a lot of money.
Are they?
Yeah, and I don't think Forest want to sign a goalkeeper for more than £5 million.
No.
So
especially if it's a young lad just to develop. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's January stuff done. We look ahead to the summer now. Who do you need to bring in the summer? Positions, maybe any names, But say you bring in a goalkeeper in January.
So obviously,
who else do you need to get?
Henderson's on loan. So Henderson just wants to leave United. Everyone knows it. It's a common fact now. He wants us to leave because he won't get a game in the semi-finals, obviously, because of the loan rule in the EFL.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to annoy him a lot, and I think that's going to be the final straw for him. So he'll want to leave, but it's all depending on how much United want for him.
Yeah.
But if United want a lot of money for him, I feel like I need to check who's on a 6-month contract, because you either sign a goalkeeper that's quite young who's really good, or you just go experience in the goalkeeper department.
If you get one of Navas or Livakovic in January, then you'll be sorted, won't you?
Yeah.
Is there anything else beside goalkeeper that you might need for the summer?
Obviously a new centre half, maybe, because Niakate is obviously injured. I don't know what he will come now if he is injured. Don't know how good he will be after injury, because obviously you have to get fitness back. He might be a bit like Fofana, gets injured and won't be great and just keeps getting injured and injured.
And he sell him for 70 million.
That wasn't even a bad bit of business. But yeah, I feel like there's some position that we really need to improve on. Left back, Lodi, he is really coming on leaps and bounds recently, and I think 25 million euros is a lot for asking for Lodi. So if we can lower it to about 17.5 million.
Okay, would you do that then?
Yeah, I'll do 17.5 million. I feel like that would be a great signing.
I think that'd be a fair deal, yeah. So, say a goalkeeper, a new centre back. Do you have any names for me at centre back?
Oh, you really put me in it here.
I have put you on that one.
I'm not. Ben Godfrey.
I've really put you in that one for you to have to come up with.
No. So if Everton go down, I feel like we need to see who goes down.
It's a very good point, yes.
Because if players go down, they might have relegation clause in their contract. They just don't want to play for the club. If they're good enough, they just won't want to play for the club. So like, let's say Wolves go down, Connor Cody, Kilman, players like that, we could like try and sweep it again for
Everton,
decent price.
If Everton don't go down and Wolves do, then Cody, I presume, will just go straight to Everton, won't he?
Yeah, I think he will. But so yeah, like teams like that, they might want to just sell their players. So I think we need to see who goes down in pretty much most top 5 European divisions for like a bit of a look around and see who we can get. Also, I feel like we need another striker.
Okay.
Because I don't think Awani is a great striker, but he's not really playing up front. He's playing more on the wing nowadays.
Okay.
If you've been watching him like since he got injured, he was playing like left wing. It was actually half decent because what he was doing is using in quite a lot of strength to cut in. But I feel like Chris was not going to be great.
Not a long-term one, anyway.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to try and think of someone else. Where else we need? So midfield sorted. I feel like Scarpa, Yates, Danilo, Mangala. Then we've got all 4 of them. Foiler, Kiate. Our midfield is sorted for the next 2 years, in my opinion. So yeah, I feel like that's about it. We just need a striker, and we need to get some of the loans becoming permanent. And I think we're sorted. Right back sorted. Oh yeah, Nico Williams, both class. So yeah, I feel like we're going to be sorted.
And then I'll do outgoings in a second, but I actually want to... we'll do outgoings now before we touch on what happens if you do get relegated. What outgoings happen in the summer?
I feel like some of the older players need to go. So obviously Lingard. I know he's not an older player, but he's just eating finance, like I said earlier. Maybe Kiate, always injured.
Okay.
Which isn't great.
No.
Chris Wood, I know he's only on loan, but we just don't need to sign him.
No.
Depending on business, Lodi don't need to sign him back up on loan, and Henderson, we won't need to sign him up back on loan.
Uh-huh.
Maybe even Wes Hennessy, let's see him leave.
Okay.
Because he's old and he's alright, but he's nothing special.
Bit mid.
Yeah. I feel like that's about it. I feel like we don't need. Maybe one of the centre backs needs to go like Steve Cook, because he's on a lot of money. He's not played this year that much. I feel like he's just eating finance at the club as well. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
I feel like that could be the outgoings.
That could be the outgoings. Okay, and then we have a look at if you do go down. What players do you think will be poached?
Gibbs White, Awiniyi, Foyler, Mangala, Yates, Worrell, Lodi, Henderson. I know they're both on loan. Nico Williams,
Okay. So a lot of guys. Could you give me some valuations on these, possibly? Just if you were to go down, what do you think you would try and get for these lads? Possibly any sides where you think they might go.
I don't know. Any of like the release, no, not release clause, relegation clause in any of the contracts. So.
Oh, do they all have relegation clauses? Do they?
100% most of them will, yeah. Because a lot of the players like Gibbs White, he's an absolute amazing player. I'll take 150 million for him. I feel like that's a fair valuation.
So 30 then.
45.
If you go down, you have to accept 30 million for Morgan.
45.
If you
no, because if we go down and we sell him for 30 million, we still make a profit. Because he hasn't hit any of his add-ons to make 42.5 million.
Yes, there we go. You take 30 million then.
Johnson will go. He has a relegation clause of 17.5 million.
He's looked okay at times this season. I know he played really.
Oh, he's getting a lot better now. He's getting a lot better now. Yeah.
Obviously, Johnson's one of your proper boys. Where do you think he would go?
Newcastle want him. I don't know if they want him anymore.
I don't know if he would go there, considering all the players they're looking. Especially if they were to get European football, I think they would go for a better profile than Brennan Johnson.
Brentford, Brentford love a youngster. But if he goes to Brentford, he might become like Lewis Potter, who just hasn't really been playing for Brentford.
No, he hasn't. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. Well, there is how to fix Nottingham Forest, or not fix it in some cases. I don't know. There's another 15 minutes talking about Nottingham Forest. We'll take a short break here before we come back to sit down and review all of the summer transfers. Good one. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the PL Pod right here on YouTube. We are back with another video, / another section of the podcast. If you're listening to this on the video, go back and watch the full podcast. If you're watching this on the video, hello. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please comment down below. Turn on the notification bell. Follow the Instagram and the TikTok, Daniel Talks Football on both. Early on this year, we did a video chat. That was where we rated every Nottingham Forest transfer from the mad summer. I think at that point there was 21 transfers. I've got 22 today because Oria hadn't signed by that point. So we're going to go back through, re-rank these and compare the rankings from what you ranked them then and what you'll rank them now. So the first player is Morgan Gibbs White. Now you've obviously got to take into the transfer fee into this as well. What would you rate Morgan Gibbs White now and why?
It's a good player, just incredible player, really. So, yeah, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. So back then you rated it a 7.
Not bad prediction.
So fairly around the same sort of thing. That's not going to be the case for all of these. Some of these are absolute stinkers. But no, yeah, fair enough. I mean, at the time there's obviously a lot of trepidation around Morgan Gibbs White, but I think fairly decent one there. So I'll give you a point for that one. That's one correct out of the 22. Awan Iyi. What do you think now?
6.5 out of 10.
6.5 out of 10. Okay, fair enough. At the time you rated him a 5 out of 10.
Not bad.
Why do you think that's changed for you?
I feel in the past few weeks he's becoming into a bit of a Premier League striker a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Start of the year he was crap.
Yeah.
Now he's actually becoming very good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel he's improved a lot since the start of the year, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Nico Williams.
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Why is that then? Because initially you rated him a 7.
So obviously he's been pushed out the side due to Aurier being amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Best top 6 right back.
Okay.
As has a top 6.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, apart from Kieran Trippier.
Hmm.
But yeah, Williams has just been. He hasn't been crap, but he's just not been as I expected him to be.
Okay, fair enough. Emmanuel. So initially, as I said, you rated Williams a 7. So yeah, not excellent there. Emmanuel Dennis.
3 out of 10.
Okay, so what's changed then? As I say, 'cause initially again, this is another one
Again,
he
he
gave
just hasn't had
6.
the game time. He hadn't managed to get the game time. And when he has had the game time, he hasn't been brilliant. So yeah,
All right, fair
3 out
enough.
of 10.
Mangala.
I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10. He's been.
Okay.
I haven't put a foot wrong. It's been almost exceptional, really.
Okay, fair enough.
Great little pick up from Stuttgart for like 8 million quid.
Yeah, so initially you gave that one a 7.5. So
Yeah.
you were pretty bang on with that one. Niakate.
Oh, obviously we haven't seen him play a lot,
Mhm.
so I can't give him anything higher than a 6 because I haven't watched him play. But when I've watched him play, it's been decent.
Okay, so initially you gave that an 8. Is that due to the injuries?
Yeah, it's due to the injuries. I could give it an 8 at the start of the year if he comes back in and he's just great again. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Biancone.
Yeah, he's done himself in, hasn't he? He's ruptured his ACL
He
or
has.
something. 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. Yeah, so initially you gave it a 4, so you weren't even that hopeful to start with.
Yeah, crap.
What was he just not a needed signing?
I think it's just one of them, like when you sign your first player at the window, you just want to get someone in early doors.
Yeah.
Obviously, you wouldn't know because you're a Leicester fan.
Thanks, mate.
But, like, when you get your first in and it's like Alex Smithies, you're like, yeah, let's get him. I think you just want to, like, hit the ground running when you first sign him. And then he's just a bit crap. He was just crap. He hardly played. When he did play, he wasn't great. Now he's ruptured his ACL or done his knee in or something. Out for like 12 months. So, not brilliant.
Yeah, fair enough then. Who is next? O'Brien.
Probably a 4 out of 10. Again, when he's had the game time, he hasn't been. Obviously, he's shown moments of greatness, but those moments are very far between each other. So, yeah, 4 out of 10. I haven't really got the game time as well.
Yeah, initially gave that one an 8. So a lot of excitement surrounded the signing to start with. Why was that excitement? What did you see in him that sort of did bring that excitement?
At the start, he was getting the game time. In a midfield, that is, I would say, it's probably the second most competitive position on the pitch. So a 5-side, and he just hasn't been competing at the other guys' levels like Yates, Danilo. I know that Danilo only just came in, but even Danilo got a game over him yesterday against Bournemouth. So yeah, I feel like that might be one of the reasons that he just hasn't played. He just hasn't been improving like Steve Cooper thought he would. So
is he one that if you go down, you think he possibly becomes more prominent in this Forest side?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, with all those midfielders going to leave, probably like Danilo's, Scarpa and all that.
Yeah,
he could really become a great player again.
For sure. Okay, fair enough. Freuler.
I'm gonna give him a 7.
Okay. Why's that?
Because the reason is he's always in the side, never puts a foot wrong. His passing is exceptional. I think the only downside to Freuler is his pace is not very fast.
No, okay.
And that really, to say we want him as a bit of a box to box, it's not great. It's not that quick, but he does a job, and he's actually alright at a job. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. He's obviously also got the European experience in case we do push for Europe next year. So yeah,
fair enough. Okay, initially it was a 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, fairly spot on. I mean, this was another player obviously coming from Atalanta. He came with a lot of promise. He played Champions League football.
Yeah.
Has he quite lived up to that? You expected him to be such a big part of this Forest side. Personally, I don't think
No, not really. Like, you watched him at Switzerland. Like, obviously, they got absolutely thrashed by Portugal. What was the score? Was it 7-0 Portugal in the end?
I don't know if it was 7. I'll find it for you as you talk.
But obviously, instead of that, for that game, like all the other games that Switzerland played in the World Cup, he was actually a decent player in every single game. So I feel like there's a potential there for him to be great, but I don't know if it's the
6-1 Portugal.
or 6-1. I don't know if it's the way that Steve Cooper plays that he just doesn't like.
Yeah, I mean, he reminds me a bit of Gokhan when he signed for us. Again, another Swiss midfielder. Just a bit too slow for the Premier League, possibly.
Yeah. Also, Serie A is very slow.
Very slow league, yeah.
Patient defending. Do you know what I mean? Like, not that intense, but like this league, obviously, are very intense.
For sure.
Like, Lukaku can't hack it, so...
He can't, no. Lukaku is better side for the Serie A. Richards.
1 out of 10.
Okay, is that again injuries?
Yeah.
Is he somebody that if you go down, he has more of a chance to play? Because you gave him a 3 initially because you already knew he was injured. If he goes down, you have more chance of him playing, or do you think he moves on regardless of what happens this season?
I think it all depends on what Lodi. Yeah, if we go down and Lodi doesn't sign, or we stay up and Lodi doesn't sign, he'll definitely get more of a chance.
Okay.
But
if
apart
not,
from that,
he'll just go.
I don't see him playing. Yeah.
And that's a shame because he was a signing you brought in who I really liked coming from Bayern Munich. He looked really good at, was it Reading in the Championship?
Reading, yeah.
He looked really good then, and now he just hasn't lived up to it. Again, that's another injury issue though. You spoke on him then, Brennan Lodi.
I would have gave him a 3 if you would have asked me 2 months ago. I'll give him a 7 now.
That's the exact same he said at the start of the season.
Yeah.
So obviously he came in with high expectations, coming from Atletico Madrid. Has he been that good? Has he lived up to those expectations?
He definitely hasn't lived up to the expectations of being well. Like Atletico Madrid scored against Man United in his final year at Atletico.
Yeah.
In the Champions League. Obviously, we thought he was going to be a massive player, but he just hasn't shown the expectation. But he's still been a great player. So, yeah, I feel like there's definitely room for improvement there. He's only 25, so his career's not done yet at any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But he could be a lot better than he is.
Okay, fair enough. Yui Joe.
Oh, do we have to, Daniel, mate? I haven't seen him play.
You haven't seen him play? 0 out of 10. Well, initially you rated him a 1. So fair enough. Yeah, I mean the fact I don't even know how to say his name says a lot. Bolly. There's one you do know about.
Do you know what?
Refrain from singing any chants.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Absolute bargain for the player he is. He bullies forwards. He bullies people. He bullies people at corners. Like Chelsea, he got the assist for Aurier. Scored against his ex-club against Wolves for a decisive goal. He's a very good player. And I would love to see him and Niakate back because no one's going to be getting past that defence. Even Haaland will really struggle.
Initially, you gave that a 5 out of 10, so he's really elapsed what you initially thought of him then.
Yeah.
Fair enough, and I thank you for not singing any chants there as well.
No problem.
Harry to follow.
3 out of 10. He's just not good enough.
No.
Obviously, he'll do your job, but that's all he can do. He'll just do your job, and that's what you don't need to help in the Premier League. You need someone who will excel at their position.
Yeah, I mean, initially you gave him a 5.5 out of 10. Yeah. That was partly to do with the fact that O'Brien was part of that deal, and the only reason you sort of got it done was to get O'Brien, and you're like, to follow, we'll take you as well then. Looking back on it, would you just not do that double deal at all?
Yeah, 100% I would have done it. Well, the thing is, at the start of the year, is we were looking to play a 5-back.
Yeah.
And a lot of the players we brought in were wing-backs.
They were.
Like, most of the left-backs were, because obviously Richards played wing-back for Reading. Toffolo played wing-back for Huddersfield. Lodi played wing-back for Atletico Madrid. The only, even the right-backs just didn't... The right-backs are full-backs, so, Williams, he was playing right-back for Fulham, and Aurier was playing right-back at Villarreal when he was playing. Yeah. So, it was a bit of a weird one, to be fair. But they're just both not great. Both Huddersfield boys that came in. But I feel like they were brought in when we were playing a 5-back, and that was going to be the plan for the season. And obviously plans have changed, and we changed the system. And obviously it's worked for the team, but just hasn't worked for them, has it?
Yeah, fair enough. Next up we have Josh Bowler.
Yeah, 4 out of 10. I haven't watched him play. I know he's gone back to Blackpool, I think.
Yeah, he initially was on loan at Olympiacos, and then obviously he went back to Blackpool.
Obviously he's got potential.
He does.
Yeah, he's got a lot to play. He's only 23, maybe.
And he's another one that if you go down, you're sorted and he'll be a proper player for you. But as long as you're in the Prem, he won't play for you at all.
Yeah.
Initially, he gave him a 5 out of 10. Fair enough. Aguilera.
He played for Costa Rica in World Cup.
He did.
So I'm giving him 6 out of 10. Only 19 as well.
Yeah, I know. Initially, he gave that one a 4, but again, that was mainly because obviously you hadn't watched him play. So that's
I haven't watched him play. The only time I watched him play was against Germany.
Yeah. Jesse Lingard. Now, here's one you definitely have watched play, and I'm interested to see your opinions on this because I know he's dividing a lot of opinions at the moment.
4.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Obviously, he has shown a bit of dance moves, which bumps him up a bit. But that was against Blackburn. So, yeah, he's just not great. He's just not the player he was. Not the player he was for United at the start. Not the player he was for West Ham. Have you watched his podcast with what's it called?
Diary of CEO.
Yeah.
I have heard about it. I haven't got around to watching it yet, but it's on my watch list. There's
a few things that could really be hindering his performance, like to do with his mum and stuff. And he's had. Have you seen like all the articles about his alleged alcohol problem?
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. It might be the Sun, maybe. So
quite possibly, yes.
Yeah, the Sun or the Daily Mirror. I'm not
allegedly that. Yeah.
True, yeah.
So a 4. Did you say a 4 out of 10 or 4.5 out of 10?
4.5. 4.5 out of 10.
4.5 out of 10. So initially you gave him a 4. So your expectations weren't that high initially. Obviously, he's coming on a big wage that seems to be not as big as we all initially thought, and there's just bonuses in there.
Yeah.
Isn't it apparently something only like 80k a week with a load of bonuses?
Yeah, I think it's a load of bonuses, but if the bonuses are goals and assists, he ain't missing any of them.
No, so you're alright then. Fair enough then. Koyate.
I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Got him on a 3. I don't know how much he's on, but I'm not expecting he'll be on loads. And do you know what? He bullies midfield. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. He's a great player.
Okay.
Always getting involved. He's always picking up yellows, which isn't a great thing, but he's always getting involved.
He's another one. Initially, I gave him a 7 out of 10. So again, your expectations were fairly high of him. Coming in on that free transfer from Crystal Palace, I think it was. Can play centre-back, can play in the midfield. A really good signing. And he's another one that if you do go down to the Championship, you can keep hold of him and he can do a job down there as well. So, yeah, fair enough on that one.
How long are you saying he went to West Ham for a bit? Or is that someone else?
Is that the other Koyate? Because there's 2 Koyates in there. There's... mate, I've got no idea.
I'm not really sure either.
Wayne Hennessy.
Gonna give him a 5 out of 10. Good sub.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's nothing special.
No, I mean, he's a solid keeper, isn't he?
Yeah.
Can do the job. I mean, initially he gave me a 6 out of 10. Coming in as that backup keeper, which is what you expected him to be. He has been a backup keeper for you, and he's been alright. So, fair enough on that one. Dean Henderson.
Best signing, 10 out of 10. I'm not even joking, Daniel.
Okay.
Best signing of the season. Him and... both been 10 out of 10s. Kept us in so many games. Liverpool, West Ham, even Wolves, EFL Cup. Games like that. Like Leicester, he didn't have to do anything, which was decent. Everton... Just games where we need the points, he always turns up.
Yeah.
Great saves, always. Great goalie, 10 out of 10. I think we should sign him on a permanent.
Fair enough. I mean... Sorry for that. Initially, 9 out of 10. So you expected high things from coming in on that loan from Manchester United. So yeah, fair enough for that one. Like Bade, what are you giving for him?
0 out of 10.
What's happened there then?
Great.
He just didn't play, did he?
Yeah, he just hadn't played. Obviously, probably hasn't shown anything in training.
No.
He's just crap.
No, fair enough. I mean, initially you gave him a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough on that one. And then the last one, Serge Aurier, obviously never actually rated him initially because he was signed after the video was done.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, yeah?
Yeah.
Has he been that good, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And then, yeah, that's all the rankings done. Before we do round off the podcast, I just want to ask you about the lottery numbers for this week because I've mentioned it a couple of times now. Chelsea won't finish top 6. What made you say that at the start of the season, and why are you going to be right?
in pre-season, they looked awful. Even Tuchel said they just weren't as they were when they won it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, not coming top six. There's a lot of sides looking brilliant as well. Like Man United, Ten Hag, Newcastle have done really well. Brighton have done really well. Liverpool have really disappointed. But even you could even see teams like Arsenal, Man City were always going to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
But like teams like Arsenal, Man City, Man U, Newcastle, even Tottenham looked good at the start. It was going to be really difficult for Chelsea to break into that top six, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, they're only about 3 points off there at the moment, but it'll be a hard run for them to get into top six.
Fair enough, mate. All right. Well, thank you for coming on to the pod. Thank you for everyone at home for listening to it, and I'll catch you all again in the next one. See ya.